What's up everyone, this is Drake running real estate here on YouTube. I'm here with Chip Sizemore of Great Team Win Group, Great Team Win Development.
The subject property we will be walking today, we secured that for $185,000. And this was a package deal. In order to access one, we had to buy both. So for the two properties, we're all in at $300,000.
Some of the lights are off in here, so we're just not gonna worry about that, but talked about the $90,000 budget. We think we're gonna stick to it pretty closely. Chip's gonna kind of take us through what all that's going to include. But when we started the business, we both have a very good understanding of what buyers are looking for.
Sure.
So we know that other areas of NWA, we might pull up at a $60,000 budget, but here in East Fayetteville, this is a A-class area and it calls for a $90,000 budget to make this truly a family home that someone's gonna live in for a long period of time. So we're in the main living room. Let's talk about the specs of the home.
Okay. Yeah, so square footage, you're gonna be sitting at 1,719 square feet. For a 1980 build, this would have been considered a large home. In addition to that, you're sitting on 0.33 acres, one of the largest lots here in this neighborhood. And it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. You have this oversized living room here that we're in. It's a 30 by 20 living room. So again, referencing the size of the home, this would be considered an oversized home for the time period. So a little bit about the budget. Again, we talked about the exterior. We're looking to spend around $30,000 there. On the interior, we're looking to spend about $60,000, guys. And that includes new flooring, that includes new trim and doors, that includes new cabinets, water heater, new bathroom vanities, tile tub showers, new electrical throughout. You'll notice that you have a fan here in this living room that does not work. Don't worry, we'll be sure to replace those lights. But we're gonna have all new can lighting throughout, make it very modern. And that's the budget we're working with.
We're just gonna walk in the circle here. I'll show you what Chip's talking about. So got the grand living area here, fireplace centerpiece. What are we thinking on the cabinets? Are you thinking about taking these out still?
Yeah, so we originally thought about keeping these. Talking with another one of our investors, we kind of thought through the process of, even though this is a large oversized living room, the ceilings are kind of small. So with these cabinets going all the way to the ceiling, it makes this room feel a little bit smaller than what we'd like. So what we're gonna do is remove these, get rid of them, have new cabinets made, the shaker style cabinets, which will be unison throughout the kitchen, the bathrooms, and here in the living room. And then above that, we're gonna do floating shelves. That's gonna make the space feel a little bit bigger.
Fantastic.
But also give you that cabinet space that you're not gonna be losing. So that's what we're planning on doing here. This is a cedar beam here above the fireplace. We're gonna save this. I think this is really unique to the property. I think refinishing this with a new stain, a new trim out for the fireplace, it's gonna make this area right here, which is your center focus, really stand out.
Yeah, that beam is definitely worth keeping. That looks awesome. Then walking in here, again, 1,700 feet, I'll keep pointing back to that. You get the formal dining area, you get the dedicated space, but Chip's doing a really good job working with our cabinetry makers and some of the other subs we're working with to open this wall up and create somewhat of an open concept from the kitchen to the dining, depending on what we do with the cabinets. Walking into here, another thing I noticed when I walked in this house for the first time, the cabinetry was fairly small for how massive the kitchen is. So how are we gonna look to maximize that and really bring this kitchen up?
Sure, yeah. So one thing that you don't have in this kitchen that I would love to see is a dedicated pantry. So here where you would most likely find the pantry in other homes is a water heater. We're not gonna relocate the water heater. There's not an area in the garage that we can dedicate to it. So we're gonna leave it here in this closet. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna have a double shaker style from floor to ceiling pantry built in right here.
Beautiful.
So that's one way we're going to get rid of that issue that we've experienced. We're kind of referencing what Drake said, the cabinet space here was limited. You have the drop down boxes, which was very popular during this build time. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna completely get rid of that. and bring the cabinets to the ceiling, which will make the space feel bigger. And then here, what we're looking at is, we're looking at the plumbing wall where the sink fit, and prior to us removing everything, this is where the dishwasher was. So we're actually gonna relocate the dishwasher closer to the sink that you see in modern builds. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna reduce this wall. And that will give us that open concept into your dining area. But what we're losing, which would be a cabinet here and a cabinet here, we're gaining because we're gonna do a dual cabinet setup. So you're not gonna be losing the space, we're just relocating the space.
We're gonna take you down the hallway. 1980s builds, late 70s, early 80s, seem to be a very good candidate for flips.
Absolutely.
And I think it's because they have a lot of features that homes have now, as opposed to like a 1950s, 1960s, which was just such small footprint and cramped.
Yeah.
So it makes it easy to handle. This bathroom looks like it's gonna do pretty well with the tile work.
Yeah, so in the bathrooms or the wet areas, we're gonna be putting tile. We're not gonna be putting tile in the kitchen because we do have waterproof LVP that we plan on putting down, so no concern there. But to make the bathroom stand out a little bit, we will be putting tile. It's a small footprint. There won't be a large expense for that. And what we're doing here is, we notice a lot of remodels, sometimes a contractor will go ahead and remove the tubs and just put 2 walk-in showers. In our opinion, I think that's undercutting your potential buyers.
Yep.
Because let's say you're a young family with a kid, you need a tub space for your kid. So that's important for us to keep. And this tub's actually in great shape.
Talking about this, there's different types of drywall. So it looks like that's an old version of wetboard.
Yep.
So that's something I know you're gonna be focused on just to make sure like it's done perfectly and there's no leaks or any issues. So we talk about like the difference in that and how you work with somebody doing the drywall to execute something like that.
Sure, yeah. So in these areas, what you'd like to see is mold resistant sheetrock. Purpose of that is you're gonna have a lot of moisture, you're gonna have a lot of heat when you're taking showers. Even if you have a vent fan, that's still an issue. So what we're gonna do is in the wet areas like this, specifically where you have your kitchen sink, and then in the bathrooms, we're gonna be putting mold resistant sheetrock. And guys, there's not a big difference on price.
No.
If you go to your local Home Depot, a regular piece of sheetrock is gonna be about $15, whereas a mold resistant piece of sheetrock is gonna be about $19. But for us, that peace of mind and safety for the next buyer is crucial.
Well, and it's one of those things, people skimp on that.
Yep.
Because it's an easy savings, no one's gonna notice because it's covered up with tile, but you wanna get with the crew that spends that 90K, not that 60, not that 70, because it's gonna create a product that you can keep in your family for years and years, and you're not gonna have the issues. So man, that one looks great with everything removed. Let's check out the bedrooms real quick. So, and we don't even need to go in here. This is bedroom 2, bedroom 3. They're facing the front, which is really nice. If you think about the east and west, you're gonna get a lot of natural light in here in the afternoons. Would make great home offices, big boxy rooms in a 1,700 square foot house. This is what I think Chip's gonna have some cool detail to share with us on. So this is the primary bedroom suite. Again, you've got the window here, nice natural light, and we do have some challenges associated with the home being a 1980, but we've come up with some creative solutions to combat, the cramped bathroom and that type of thing. So Chip, if you'll share with us what the plan is in the bathroom.
Sure, yeah. So here in the bathroom, we had a single vanity here, you had a tub here, and then you have the toilet. Now, one thing you'll notice is the toilet's extremely close to the tub itself. So what we're gonna do is kind of relocate that a little bit more over, give a little bit more space, not feel as cramped. And then here, where we had the single bathroom vanity, what we're gonna do is remove this sheetrock and re-plumb this line to this wall and have a double vanity top here in the bathroom. For a master suite, for his and hers area, so they can get ready in the morning and the evening, that's crucial. A single vanity is very, very common in these older builds. That's one upgrade that we think the next buyer will find very valuable. And then here in the shower area, again, I've started the process of removing all this sheetrock, but what we're gonna do is remove this tub and put in a walk-in shower. And here, what you'll notice is this is a massive space for a walk-in shower. So really excited about the potential there. We're gonna have a glass door, and really open this space up and maximize its potential. Even though it's a little bit on the smaller side for a master bathroom suite, we're gonna do what we can with the space that we have. And then here in the closet, one thing that we're also going to do is, if you'll notice, there was only 3 shelves before the remodel took place, or the demo took place. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a nice new addition. So it's gonna be a dual hanging rack. And then you're gonna have a built-in shoe box here. All right guys, so we're gonna be stepping out to the backyard here, showing you what this backyard has to offer to our next buyer. Now, you're walking through a single door here. I would love to go ahead and open this wall up, put a sliding door out to this deck, but we're not going to do that. The reason being, we wanna save this aluminum siding. In doing so, we'd have to replace a portion of that. And if we're already replacing a portion, might as well scrap it all and redo it. So we're gonna just replace the door itself. You also have a door here that leads into your garage, which for this build year, it's not very common. Love to see that. But here you are sitting on a massive deck. And you can tell when this deck was built, it was top of the line. You have some built-in seats right here. You had some side rails right here protecting yourself as you go into the backyard. What we're gonna be doing is completely scraping this and putting a brand new deck with a 1-tier step system going into the backyard. That will make it feel very open. When you have people here in the backyard watching the football game, barbecuing on a weekend, it's gonna make it more inviting. And this shed right here to the left of the property, along with this tree, that tree is dead. That shed we're gonna do away with. We're gonna open up that side. Again, both sides of the fences that face the road, we're gonna put a shadow box fence to give the buyer more privacy. And we're gonna redo landscaping. So this backyard, it feels kind of small right now because you have all this tree coverage, you have some dead trees. We're gonna clean all that up, new deck, and really make this space inviting for the next buyer.
Here at Onyx Coffee, it's a Tuesday morning. We just looked at the property. So Chip, I want to start out with you as the owner of Great Team Wind Development. How did you get into real estate? What's your backstory?
Yeah, so as part owner, sitting here with the other part owner of Great Team Wind Development, I actually got into real estate in a unique way. So out of college, I went to work for Meeks Lumber, and I worked my way through there. Started out in the yard and building framing packs, etc., which gave me a lot of insight to basically how a home was built from the ground up, what type of material that you'd like to see in the interior of a home when it comes to studs, when it comes to the framing of the house. So gave me a lot of insight there. Then naturally progressing throughout my time with Meeks, I went into delivering trim to homes. So basically I ran millwork, so trim, doors, etc. And then transferred to Rogers and assumed a role in the as an inside sales rep there at Meeks. So working directly with builders, walk-in customers, and really learning the ins and out of the trade. And it really started to interest me in regards to, I know this information, how can I apply it and put myself in a better position to utilize the information I've learned. And I vividly remember a conversation with you back in 2018. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about like what the potential of this area was going to be.
2017, man.
2017. That's right.
Way back.
And so, you know, this has been something I've thought about, but never really took action. And that's going to be a big point we're talking about, taking action. But
yep.
In 2018, I moved in with one of our former colleagues, Zach Jones. And he was in the process of actually getting his license. He had just graduated from college. He wanted to do something on his own, and he chose real estate. So I was able to see what he went through in terms of studying for his license, taking it, passing it, and building a business. And during that time frame, Drake also achieved his license. Zach and Drake started their real estate company. Shout out HB Jones team.
Shout out.
Big shout out. And that kind of sparked my interest. I knew that I had a lot of information that other people my age didn't, with my 4 years being in the trade business and working directly not only with builders, but also actually doing contracting work on the side. So I decided to start studying myself, got my license middle of 2019, still working at Meeks at the time. And knowing myself, I knew that I couldn't juggle 2 different careers. So I elected to get my license and keep it inactive. So I didn't activate it until the beginning of 2020. During that time frame, I left Meeks, went to work for another IT recruiting company. Things didn't work out there, and then left in, I think it was May of 2022.
May June time frame.
Yep.
I remember June, the first day we were working together, we were doing lawn work again.
Yeah. Funny enough, so before college, we did lawn care, Oak Hill Lawn Care.
Another big shout out to
Oak Hill Lawn Care. So, funny enough, our first full day, both of us as full-time real estate agents, we were out there doing yard work again. It felt like a full circle moment. But yeah, that's how I got into real estate, is just being in the trade, not directly in real estate, but being involved in the real estate industry in terms of working with builders and knowing that knowledge, seeing good friends of my own partake in that and getting their license and motivating me to do the same. And then also just realizing that we grew up here. We knew a ton of people in Northwest Arkansas. We went to college at the University of Arkansas. So just combining all of those interests and knowledge and people that we know, it just felt like this is what we were supposed to do.
Yeah. So Chip, I want to ask you, from your perspective, how did the development business come to be?
You want to talk a little bit about Drake? I'll let him fill in the gaps.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, it's tough to talk about career and summarize it efficiently. For me, I'll go back to when I graduated college. I'll just start there. I graduated U of A up on the hill with a 3.09 GPA, which is good. I got my degree, awesome, got it in finance. And at U of A, I liked 2 classes. One was personal finance, the other was real estate. Besides that, the only purpose I had there was meeting anybody that I could possibly meet. So real estate was of interest to me then. But yeah, I graduated and I got a decent job, but it took me to Wisconsin. And I remember my salary was $55,000, but it was paid once per month. And at that moment, I realized that not really applying myself as much as I maybe could have in college had kind of put me into a situation where I now lived in a state far north, and I wasn't making a whole lot of money, and my back was against the wall, and I was away from my friends, away from my family, and that's where the switch flipped for me, and I decided, all right, I'm going to do something crazy. So at that time, the financial independence, retire early, FIRE movement, Michael knows what I'm talking about, was big. It was on dark corners of the internet. It wasn't like now where like you just get on YouTube and immediately someone's trying to like give you personal finance tips. You had to look for it. So that year, I tried to see how much I could bank, how much I could save on a monthly basis, how little I could spend, which in some months as little as $1,000. And my whole goal was to save $100,000. That was like my one mission in life, which sounds like I had no balance, which is true. But through that process, I learned that real estate was maybe the best investment you could make because it was the most passive investment, which now is up for debate.
Talking a little bit about earned income versus that passive income.
Right.
Yep.
So for me, it was that brutal 36 months to get to 100. And that was in 2019. And at that point, I had built flexibility to kind of remove myself from my situation and move over. So I was working a corporate job, I was making decent money, but I had enough of a fallback to where I was able to take a risk. So that risk for me was full-time real estate. I was able to leverage all the relationships that I had. Fast forward to now, we've sold 210 houses. We've sold $55 million of real estate. We've been in and out of a ton of situations. We've flipped houses. We've bought rental properties. We've ran Airbnbs. We've traveled a lot. You know, we've seen a lot of different things. But another thing I want to point to is one of my favorite books, which is called Outliers. It's by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a really good book, and it talks about like anybody that crushed it in their industry, they usually had some tailwinds that propelled them forward. So for example, Steve Jobs, Silicon Valley in the 1970s, that happened to be the boom time for the computer industry. Sam Walton boomed at a time where there wasn't a big national grocery chain that was everywhere, and he fit that need. So for me, I take kind of a pause and look at, we grew up in the perfect time
Yeah.
in NWA. So we saw the potential,
Yep.
and we saw it evolving from high school to college to graduating to where we knew where it was going.
Sure.
So for me, all I had to do was see that and jump in,
Yeah.
and that's what I did. And real estate for me has been the game changer. It's the equalizer. It's one of those businesses where you get out what you put in. If you're willing to work hard, you're going to get a good return. So that's a little bit of my journey to real estate. Obviously, when you're almost 30, you can take a lot of different side paths talking about your life.
Yep.
But that's the gist of it. So.
Well, and guys, also, he mentioned his journey to that first 100,000. He actually did a video on that. So we're going to go ahead and include that in the link description if you want to reference that. If you want to go ahead and see what that journey was like for him as he went through it, we'll be sure to include that. Also, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Drake at Running Real Estate. Would really appreciate the support.
Also, shout out the YouTube channel for you.
Yeah, I don't really have one. I'm kind of figuring out what my angle will be, but appreciate the love.
Let's talk about the development business.
Okay.
How did it come to be? And if you'll talk about, or I'll kind of tee it up. So my brand is Great Team Win. We have Great Team Win Group, sales business that's done $55 million in sales. We've got Great Team Win Management, which I own with another partner. That's my property portfolio. And then development is where Chip and I think we can really light a fire. So if you want to talk about how development came to be.
Yeah, so again, Great Team Win Group is our sales business. Drake has Great Team Win Management, which he has a partner on. And then Drake and myself, we are co-owners of Great Team Win Development. I also have 3 properties as well. That's in an LLC. So we not only talk about real estate, we not only help sell real estate, but we are avid real estate investors as well.
Yep.
So a little bit about Great Team Win Development. So when Drake was making his LLCs, that included basically Great Team Win Holdings, and then you have an umbrella of LLCs underneath that. One of those LLCs is Great Team Win Development, and his partner that he partnered with on Great Team Win Management, this was going to be something that they were going to utilize for developing. Well, that never came to be because there was so much focus on the management side,
Right.
acquiring properties, and it kind of just sat there.
For about a year.
For about a year. And
Yeah.
we, I recall many conversations of us talking about flips, thinking about getting into it, but last year was our biggest year. We had a lot of clients that we served, and we just didn't really have the time because
Right.
you were doing a couple flips through your management. I was doing a couple flips with clients. So our time was preoccupied, but coming out of those situations that we put ourselves in, I think we both looked at each other and thought, we've done this now for other people, we've done it now for a long-term hold, but I think there's opportunity in a flip or a remodel, improving the community, and capitalizing on that opportunity.
Yep.
So, like we mentioned at the property, this deal was something that our other partner had found and worked on for a year. And we had a conversation. I vividly remember this. We had a conversation early, middle part of the year. Once this individual made contact with the previous owner and said, "Hey, here's an opportunity. It's a package deal. This is kind of what I'm thinking." We obviously at the time thought it was too good to be true.
It was a blessing the whole way.
And then we kind of forgot about it. Well, latter part of this year, we get a call one day from our partner, and he's like, "Hey guys, the seller actually acted on it. He's looking to sell and capitalize on cashing out on this equity." Well, then at that point, we knew that he was looking for a partner, not only a partner from a cash perspective, but just from a remodeling contractor perspective as well. And we knew this was the opportunity that we had to act on. So we both had cash that we had set aside for a rainy day and for an investment that may come, and this was that investment. So
Yep.
we partnered with this individual, but how we structured this partnership, and I'm really excited in the future to kind of talk about other opportunities with people that could also help us out with either a partnership or going in together on deals. But talking about this specific deal, what we did was this LLC that Drake owned 100% of, we went ahead and put in our buy-in amount. So the buy-in amount for these deals would include your down payment in addition to the cost that we projected for the first flip. So that looks like $45,000 on the $300,000, which is 15% down payment, and then an additional $5,000 for holding cost, which would include your insurance, your monthly mortgage payment, interest, etc. And then, in addition to that $45,000, there was that $85,000, $90,000 that we projected for the remodel. So split that between three. What Drake and I did was we took our buy-in amount, we made a agreement, 50-50 partner owners, and we put that into an LLC with Legacy Bank. So that's who we're banking with, and that's who we close the property with. Shout out to Legacy, shout out to our partner at Legacy as well. So that's how we created Great Team Win Development. LLC is already created. It was just not being used. Now we're utilizing it, and instead of bringing our partner underneath that LLC, because our partner may not want to do this long term.
Right.
If he does, great. We love the opportunity to do that. But if he doesn't, what we did to prevent any issues is we created a
Joint partnership agreement.
Basically, this individual is in agreement with Great Team Win Development, and then we outline the conditions of that agreement. So
Exactly.
that's kind of how development came to be. It's exciting because this is the beginning, but we think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity, not only with these two deals, but with future deals and partnerships with other people in the community that's looking to invest, but may not have the knowledge or the skill set or the time and can partner with us.
Yeah, and we're working through how that looks. We want to make sure we do it by the books and that we're tied up and everything's legal that we're doing. But I do want to get on my soapbox for a bit. So I'm someone that doesn't believe in skipping steps in anything. I think that when you look at somebody that's far along, they probably went down a very similar path to the one you're trying to walk. So one thing that I hate personally is, as a residential focused real estate agent, hey man, do you do commercial? No, I don't. Hey, do you do apartments? No, I don't. But what we've done is we've figured out the consumer, we've figured out how to sell real estate, which we'll continue to do at a high level. But instead of jumping right to building, or right to renovating apartments, or right to commercial and trying to find national tenants, we took the obvious next step, which is buying a single family residential home, renovating it to a good level, and selling it to an end user as a primary residence. And what we're going to be able to do is take that experience, and then when we come across an apartment deal in 3 or 5 years that makes sense, we'll know how to renovate them to a level that the consumer expects as a tenant. So for me, it's just parlaying your experience and going to the next step. So the reason it's Great Team Win Development is we do anticipate we're going to be getting into the development world at some point. I think that's an interest for both of us. I can see us being big time builders. I can see us, renovating apartments, doing all of that. But we're focused on now and that next step. And just like in real estate sales, you're only as good as your next deal. With this business, you're only as good as your next project. So, I think the structure is valuable because it's so cash intensive. We just don't have the cash to comfortably put all our eggs in that basket. But as a group of 3, we certainly do, which is exciting.
And I think this is going to be an opportunity for us to lay a foundation in a couple of areas. First being our process, how we work with one another to facilitate from under contract to closing to remodel to sell. So that's going to be a learning process. I think we're going to be skipping a lot of steps because we do have prior knowledge in real estate.
Right.
So it's not like we're just coming out fresh and green, not knowing what to do. But again, when you're going through this process, always plan for the unknown. There's going to be something that pops up that you're not expecting. And then also, in addition to that, kind of like what Drake just alluded to, when you're in a position that we're in, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And that's the reason having partners, having someone right now where we're at with this business is so crucial. But these 2 flips will allow us the opportunity to lay the foundation, build up our cash reserves, and provide more opportunity in the near future. So these 2 deals, we're projecting to be in and out of them by the end of July, early August would be the time frame.
Yep, being patient, not fast.
Being patient, making sure we're doing it the right way. And once we build up those cash reserves, instead of having to coordinate almost 6 to 7 months of 2 remodels, hopefully we'll be in a position where we can do 2 remodels at the same time to increase that timeline. So
Yep, and you said something at the property that I thought was gold, actually. Talking about people leaning on our expertise, whether that's hiring us as an agent, whether that's consulting us, you know, if you're about to buy a property, you can make money in real estate without guidance.
Yeah.
And people do it all the time. But why not borrow knowledge from a deep knowledge base of that 210 residential deals, that multiple flips? Because my point to investors is I guarantee we can make you more. You're going to make money, and you might tell us about it over coffee, but I guarantee you if you consult us, we will make you more money. We will help you pick a better location. We will help you think a little bit deeper about what you're getting into. We'll help you find the right era for a flip. We'll help you not overspend. These are the things that it's hard to convey unless you work with us.
Yeah, and then
you got to trust that we can do that for you.
Absolutely, and then also on top of that, we have a deep book of relationships with
Amen
subcontractors, people that can help you facilitate a flip. And also keep in mind, guys, we're here to serve the community.
Yep.
Outside of the development business, you know, we're here to share our knowledge, our experience, our expertise. And like Drake just had mentioned, we can guarantee that our advice will help you achieve what you not only thought was impossible, but that is something that we can help you uncover. So keep in mind, guys, a real estate agent is here to give you the expertise, guidance, and we believe that our value will help you exceed what you anticipate. So yeah, that's a little bit of a soapbox there for sure.
No, but it's true, and it needs to be said. And you know, when you make a video, just that one time you got coffee in Fayetteville on a Tuesday, you just hope that there's value shared.
Sure.
And you know, we want to continue making more videos so that you guys see us in different situations, and more situations will arise that we can put our opinion on and share our expertise.
Yep.
Because it is just hard off the dome to share everything that you want to share with individuals in the community. But guys, we thank you for joining us this morning for another episode of Running Real Estate. We saw the property. We talked about the best deals we've ever secured. We talked about our partnership. Shout out to our other partner. And then we were able to grab some coffee and kind of break it down and talk more about the journey for everything before this to get to this point. So these will be fun to follow throughout the spring, and the final products are going to look great. I also want to give a shout out to Michael with Alt Life. Thank you for all the videos that you've helped us produce, and we wish everybody a great 2023. Again, this is Drake with Running Real Estate. I'm here with Chip, representing Great Team Win Development, and we will catch you guys in the next one.